I think sometimes, especially in conference play, the emotions of a win and loss can really move you far one direction or the other. And you don't oftentimes see it clearly right after the game. But I think that number one thing that I want to make sure that I'm really clear about is, I think Georgetown is a much improved team. And, looking at their defense is one of the best in our league, if not the best in our league right now. And I really felt that tonight. Me as a coach, I had a hard time helping our team generate good shots. They're really good guarding the ball one-on-one. Very seldom did they get broken down off the dribble. And, Thomas Sorber, for such a young player, he has a great feel for himself. Defensively, he's not one of those young guys that's talented who doesn't know what he's doing. He has a know-how in all phases of the game that makes him better than a freshman. So he's like an all-conference player. But I just think their defense was physical, outstanding. We had a hard time getting shots. Thought we made a pretty good run in the second half at them, but when we did, and they needed stops coming out after timeouts and different things, they got the stop. They really did. I thought, again, I was really impressed with their defense. And I also was really impressed with Micah Peavy and Malik Mack. I mean, if you look at those two guys, with Epps being injured, and they got 41 points on us. And two guys got 41. We didn't have an answer for either of them. And then even with Sorber getting 12, I thought we did a pretty good job guarding him. He wasn't the big difference in the game. It was those other two guys. And they beat us. They really did. Their defense and Mack and Peavy. And I know both those guys, terrific additions. Malik being at Harvard a year ago, and obviously Micah being at TCU. They came in and they're really elevating Georgetown from where they would have been a year ago. Those two guys are really good players. So I tip my hat to Georgetown. They were ready for the game. They were physical. They were more physical. They played hard. They rebounded. Their team defense was outstanding. And really, that's to me the biggest point I want to make about the game.
Sean, when you mentioned Malik, obviously, with the game he had, that was probably the best game he's had so far this season. What was different about him tonight than maybe what you'd seen?
Well, sometimes what happens when, Jaden Epps doesn't play, his role changes and he has more volume, balls in his hands more, shoots more. They need him to do it more, and, clearly he's capable. So that happens. We've experienced that as well. But I would say that was the biggest thing, and we were trying hard. I thought at times he created a great advantage for himself in terms of one-on-one play, and made a couple tough twos.
Hey, Coach, it seemed like, I know you said you were running some stuff on offense that you didn't feel like worked, but it seemed like in the second half, anytime Georgetown switched, you were able to get Fremantle in the post and you exploited that. Were you going to that purposely, or that's just kind of how things played out?
We went to it. Zach is good in the low post, and look, I really want to credit Zach. He's been out for 21 days. There was a period of time where we weren't sure he was going to be able to play basketball for us again. Might have been out for the season. We didn't know. He didn't know. It's remarkable just watching him overcome these different obstacles that are in his way. And unfortunately for him, it just seems like every year he's had one or two major ones. But look, he came in, he got 16 points and 7 rebounds tonight, after not really doing a whole lot. He's practiced about 3 or 4 times. So I think that's a great sign for us. I'm happy for him, and he did a good job. But, look, we were better in the second half than we were in the first. We had 39 points in the second half. We had 24 in the first half. We didn't score, I don't think, for about the first 5-6 minutes of the game. I mean, at the beginning of the game, the tone was set with their defense, and we really struggled to get good shots. I have to do a better job of helping our guys. And clearly, the one thing about this league, and I made this remark to our team after the game, this is the wrong conference to play in if you're soft. Just is. if you're going to beg for fouls and the rebounding part of something isn't that rebounding aspect of the game is something you're uncomfortable with, it's just tough. You need to transfer. You need to find an easier league because the physicality and the toughness in this league has been in place since 1980. That's not going to change. And you have to raise your level. We have to raise our level in some of those toughness plays. Run hard, play hard, loose ball, blockouts, rebound. And, to be able to do a better job in that area. I thought Georgetown was the better team in that very coveted area in tonight's game. They were. If you're watching it as a fan, you officiated the game, coached the game, played the game. Which one of the two teams was more physical? Georgetown.
And would you have liked to? Were you comfortable with the pace? Would you have liked to have seen this game a little bit more on the open floor and a little bit faster?
A little bit. I mean, we have to be a little bit smarter with our pace. Our depth isn't what we want it to be, and especially Zach Fremantle coming back off of an injury. And I thought that there were times when we got in the open court, especially in the second half, we had plays at the rim, and we didn't deliver. Like we didn't make the layup. We didn't score the ball. We didn't make the shot. And when those opportunities present itself, especially in a game like tonight, you have to come away with something. When we did score in transition, when we did get into the open court and good things happened, I thought that favored us, and that's a big reason why the second half was 39-39, But look, I'm not sure how much time was on the clock. We came out of a timeout, maybe 58-57, down the home stretch. We had a one-on-one drive. Didn't get a foul or score. They defended it, and then from that point on, they kind of put us away. But again, on the road in this environment, playing against Georgetown, you got to be able to score the ball there. Got to be able to score the ball there.
One last question, everybody.
Fremantle's known as a gorilla. He goes hard, he bangs people, but he's a really crafty player. And he showed a lot of that against Silver with the three quarters, the fronting at the right time. How good is that to have in your back pocket? A veteran big who's a gorilla but knows how to play.
Yeah, I mean, Zach is very physical. He's smart. He's tough. And I think it's remarkable. I worried a little bit about his return to play tonight because it's very difficult to do. He was in a really good rhythm and a part of everything we did. And then all of a sudden, you're kind of the odd man out for 3 weeks. That first game, you could see where he's a little rusty or needs jitters. And maybe he was at times, but I thought he did really well. I mean, he helped us. He was a winning player. He was one of the best players on our team tonight. And I think Zach deserves a lot of credit for being able to fight through this last one. And I hope it's his last one. I hope for his sake, for our sake, that he can remain with us from now all the way to the end. He deserves it. And but as you watch him play, he's a very good player, no doubt.
Thanks, Coach.
Right.